Right, welcome back. So in this lecture we will see one more important topic like dependism in TestNG with a keyword called depends. So before that, in the last lecture we have seen on groups, right? So if you want to exclude, even that you can do here. Okay, you can include and you can use exclude keyword as well. So if you want to run all the test cases except smoke, then you can simply say exclude this group and run the test cases. So now in the output you will see that except these three test cases, all the test cases will be printed. You see that? You will not see good here now. Okay, because we have written that exclude this group. So in this way you can either include a group or exclude a group. Okay, it's up to you based upon your framework thing. Right. So next, now when we are talking about executing in alphabetic order, so let me go back here. So as we saw that as alphabetic wise order, these test methods are getting executed in this file in the day 3 or whatever. So let's imagine that we have a requirement that this should execute first before executing this test. Got my point? So when you run this normally, now when you run this day3.java, let me run this in from application. Okay, so you see that API login car is executed first, because as I'm not using XML file that have no information to exclude this, as I'm running from class level. Okay, this is executing first because it starts with alphabet A. But I have a requirement that before executing this API login car, this should get executed. If that is your requirement, how do you handle it? One simple question is that you will change alphabet W to A and A to W, but that's fine. But in real time, you cannot just change the method names, right? So if something method which suits to that, you should give that name only. But you can still tweak and make sure that this test got executed before this. So how do you do that? So for that, in TestNG, you have an dependency called depend on methods attribute. So just like what we did smoke, and you have something like where is smoke thing? Yes, in same syntax here, instead of groups you have to place depends on methods, open the curly braces and in double quote. So you are saying that before executing this API car loan is dependent on this method, web login car loan. If you tell like this to TestNG, TestNG by reading this particular line understands that this block is completely dependent on this test case. So I have to execute this test case first and then only I will execute this. Okay, that knowledge that that particular TestNG will get if you provide like this. Yeah, for example, let's say that you have a login information here, or you have an REST API authentication information here. After getting authentication or login only, you can work on inside the application, right? So this is like inside application thing. And if you don't have this, by default this is getting first executed before authentication and scripts are failing. So at that time, if you use this methods saying that depend on this particular method, so it will automatically depend on that, and first it will go and execute this particular block, and then only it comes down and execute this API login car. Okay, so right now you see that API login car is executing first, and at the end you will see something like a web login car. So let me run this test now after this annotation. Okay, you see that before API login car, web login car is executed. Okay, scene is reversed. Earlier this executes on the top, but now as I said that just hold on till you complete this execution. Okay, so when TestNG tries to execute it, and when it sees that, okay, it puts in basket. Okay, so it will wait till this got executed. Once this got executed, then it will release this and it will get executed at the end. Okay, in this way you can put interdependency between one test and another. Okay, you can have a control to tweak this execution order as well with the help of depends on methods attribute. Similarly, you can depend upon multiple methods as well. So if you feel that before executing this method you want to execute this as well and mandatory, then you can just put comma here at the end and put again double quotes and add this. Okay, so now before executing API car loan, it will make sure these two are executed, then only it will trigger this. Okay, you can depend on multiple methods as well. So it's up to you how you use in your framework. Alright, so there are two different helper attributes still available to tweak, and one of it is enabled. Okay, all these are helper attributes to annotation. Depend on methods is one of the helper attribute, and at the same time there is one more helper attribute called enabled. What does it mean? So when you are running test, if you know that one of the application or one of the flow is not working, okay, there is a bug in that particular execution. Okay, mobile sign in car loan. So when you are signing from your mobile, there is some bug which is already reported and you are aware of it. Okay, so while executing you have to skip that particular test. How do you do that? Okay, so if you put an annotation called enabled equals to false, so that means TestNG will safely skip this test case while executing. Okay, so you don't want to show some false report as client and everyone are aware that this particular flow have a bug and it's already reported to higher management. And now when you are executing your test cases, you need not show every time that there is a failure and a red flag. Okay, so if you simply use an enabled attribute and set it to false, then TestNG will skip this particular test from execution. If you put enabled it true, it will on again. Okay, so let's see. Mobile sign in is what we have put to execution, right? So this is a day 3. Let me run this and see what happens. Okay, you see that there is no mobile sign in this time. It's all like mobile sign out only because we have enabled it to false. Okay, in this way you can actually off your test case as well. And this is also one of the famous interview question. So when interviewer may ask you that, okay, I know that there are few errors in my application and I don't want my framework to trigger those. What you will do? Then one wrong answer and one silly answer where people are giving is that I will just comment it. That's fine. If you comment or if you delete, those will not run. But still you should be very smart in answering, saying that I will enable that to false with the help of TestNG helper attribute, and that shows your technical and confident level. Okay, so use this and off your test case. Alright, similarly there is one more helper attribute which is timeout. Okay, so you may feel that one of your test case it's taking long time to execute. Okay, and test cases are failing because of that. Okay, then if you are working on Selenium or Appium, you can set on global level like implicit wait for 10 seconds, but that particular test block is taking more than 20 seconds. Okay, if you go and increase implicit wait more than 20 seconds, your performance will go down, right? For every test it will wait more than 20 seconds, and which is not right. And when you are working on REST API test cases, when you hit the server, if server is slow, it might take like 30 to 40 seconds to give the response. But your REST assured will not wait till that level. It has some timeout of 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, so in that case, to move out of it, you will set timeout for this particular test. Okay, if you are aware that which service is actually taking time to generate response in REST API, or if you are aware that which particular flow in Selenium or mobile testing taking time to do for that particular flow, you can set timeout like, hey, don't fail till 40 seconds. So you can put timeout equal to 400 seconds. It will treat as milliseconds, 4000, right? 400 or 4000, I'm just not sure on it. 4000, yeah, milliseconds. Okay, so it will not fail till 40 seconds of your execution. Okay, only this particular block, not everything. So you are deliberately setting a timeout that wait till before you fail. Okay, wait like 40 seconds before you throw an error that if something is wrong. So that information you can give specifically for a test with the help of timeout. Okay, just imagine, do you get all these features if you run a plain Java code from public static void main? Okay, you don't get it, right? That's all just a plain Java, and you won't have reporting something like this. Need reporting of green, and I will also show you one more reporting. Okay, so all these features are present in TestNG. So that's why this framework is more powerful in Java automation. Like the Selenium, Appium, REST API, all this comes under Java language only, right? So for all these Java language automation APIs, TestNG stands as a powerful automation component. Okay, so that's how you can work on enabled attribute and this particular timeout attribute, and also depends on methods. So that's pretty much about helper attributes. In the next lecture, let's talk about parameterization to test cases using TestNG. Okay, thank you.